chasing behind us. And in the beginning of the video, we said that we wanted to turn right there. Once we turned, we flipped the lights off and hopped out of the car real fast, and that car was gone. There was no place that could have turned off of where we were at. And one time we came out there, and there was like dead pigs hanging from trees, maggots and guts hanging out underneath it. I've seen that before. Later on is when all the spray painting on the streets and all that vandalism. You know, before it didn't need artwork. It was, you went there at nighttime when it was always foggy out there. And the coolest thing is when you go up Watt Avenue and you make that little left turn, you put your hand out the window, and as soon as you turn on that street, it drops 20 degrees. Instant.
And they recently found a dead horse on the street too. On the Dyer Lane.
Yeah, that belonged to Gibson Ranch.
Oh, okay. So someone dumped it.
Yeah, because when back in 1987, speaking of Dyer Lane, I worked as a stable boy for Gibson Ranch back in 1987.
Mr. Hands.
And I remember, and I actually remember somebody stealing sheep from the ranch.
That was you. You know that was you.
No, it wasn't.
You're Scottish. You're still in the sheep. Don't lie.
Hey.
I'm Scottish too, so I can talk shit.
Sheep Brothers.
The Sheep Brothers.
Yeah, speaking of sheep, why do Scotsmen wear kilts? The sheep can hear a zipper from a mile away. But back to that. I was about 9 years old working as a stable boy, and they found them all mutilated over there off Dyer Road behind Gibson.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
There's also UFO sighting. The animal mutilation was something, popular out there that I've heard over the years. I never found anything like that, other than the pigs hanging from trees, or a lot of people would abandon their dead animals out there all the time.
Yep.
But yeah, it's had a history over 60, 70 years ago. There's history there. It ranging from the Ku Klux Klan meetings to satanic meetings, murders, suicides, cop deaths out there in the early days. There's been a lot of stuff.
So we nicknamed that, the stable boys at Gibson nicknamed that road the Boneyard. That's what we used to call it.
The Boneyard where regular Dave stashes his sheep.
And nowadays you see body outlines out. You see body outlines out there. You see satanic writing, all kinds of crazy things. But let me introduce the round table. I got Sir Terry the Taint Butt Pirate. I got Sir Wrangler Dave, Sir the Executioner, Sir El Guapo, Sir Leatherface, and Lady Amy Miller. And this is Sir Paul Dale Roberts. And also, too, there was a story about the ghostly cop, and I think Sir El Guapo, the Knight of the Round Table, can explain that.
Yeah, that bend in the road that your wife pointed out with the sign and all that, that's supposedly where one of the first African American police in Sacramento was murdered out there, shot in the face kind of thing. Since supposedly that had a racial connection to it, local KKK kind of thing.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
I think that, a lot of people know, the KKK thing was more popular down south, not so much here in the western states. It's just weird, here. I've seen people out in the robes before, out there, but once in white robes, where they're working.
It was really big in North Sacramento. I interviewed a woman named Mia that had grown up there, and she said her neighbor was like, one of the leaders of the Klan in North Sacramento, and they had rallies all the time out there. So it's, there's definitely some serious racial history there.
Oh yeah, big time in Elverta.
Oh yeah.
Neck of the woods.
Secret Agent Man.
That's your song.
Oh man, I love it.
There goes Facebook with the flag messages. Oh, copyright content.
On another note with Dyer Lane is that the people there are houses out there. Once you go past that bend in the road and you do that other right hand turn, there's houses out there, and the people who live out there can't stand everybody driving back and forth on that road. I know when Face and I think Summer was in the car with us, right? When you got that apron and you're all covered in blood.
Yep.
We got chased out of there in my Mustang, and we ended up losing them. But it's they do not like you going down that road, especially at night.
You know, and it's just amazing how urban legends are just born out of Dyer Lane. I mean, the KKK, the satanic cult, witches coven. I mean, they got everything over there. Executioner, have you ever been to Dyer Lane?
No, I haven't.
We've been there and smoked some blunts.
Oh yeah, with you telling, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's that spot we went to, and we sit on the hood and smoke some blunts.
Oh,
I know the name of the coven.
Oh, what's the name of the coven?
The witches' coven that used to be on. That used to go out to Dyer Lane was called the Practical Cauldron.
Oh,
So it sounds like a restaurant.
interesting.
Like a practical group.
Ask me how I know.
How do you know?
Part of it.
Yeah, I know the story. I mean,
Because
regular Dave
I was a
there.
member.
Now,
okay.
Dave was out there nailing some sheep one night. He looked over and he's seen him out there. And he walked over to the sheep intact. He's like, I'm regular Dave.
Back in 2000, I was a member of the coven that used to go out to that area called the Practical Cauldron.
Now, was that the same coven that lied down all those witches and fucked them one by one that you're talking about?
No.
He wasn't getting laid
went out
back
there.
Different. Just did they stack them instead?
I don't know.
He sandwiched.
We didn't do anything like that when we went out there.
And I'll tell you guys something real fast. Also, too, everybody knew about Dyer Lane because they verbally told each other, but nobody ever wrote it down. So they invited me to Dyer Lane back, I forget when it was, and they said, Paul, write a story about Dyer Lane and all the urban legends. So I will take credit. I'm the first one to ever write about Dyer Lane, because all beforehand, everybody just talked about it, but nobody put it in writing.
Paul Del Roberts.
Yeah, I want a slow clap and then a regular applause. Okay, Lady Amy Miller, have you heard anything about Dyer Lane? No?
No, I have not.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Why not?
Well, I'm all new to all this stuff.
Okay.
Don't hear about this stuff too much.
Okay.
What is it about it?
It has a lot of urban legends. It's supposedly haunted. And I'll tell you who knows a lot more about it. Terry the Taint Butt Pirate. Terry, what do you know about Dyer Lane?
Well, look at that. You can see my dick from here.
Besides that. Okay, Faze, I made the arrangements for Mount Shasta. Okay, so we're going to go.
Oh, yeah. Brokeback Mountain Part 2. That might be too much for you.
Oh, we'll bring Phil along. Okay.
Broke Dick Mountain.
Broke Dick Mountain. Phil's supposed to be creeping over the other tent.
Oh, my God.
Rated R.
Get away on your back.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. Okay, so, yeah.
Drop the soap.
I dropped this. So, Dyer Lane, definitely has a lot of urban legends. Now, what I want to ask the round table, have you heard about any urban legends besides Dyer Lane? Other type of urban legends, like the Rod Stewart urban legend. Anything like that?
The Richard Gere gerbil urban legend.
What's that one?
He had a gerbil in his ass.
Oh, shit.
You never heard that one, Paul?
No, I never heard that one. Ooh, that must have hurt. Oh, my God.
Before I dropped my phone, I had the same experience that Leatherface said you had earlier
With the gerbil?
With seeing the car just vanish out of nowhere.
That's a common thing out there. I've heard the car disappearance.
Yeah, the
In
cop car.
the old school, like 20s type of car.
Hey, so was that what happened when we was smoking on the hood of the car? We seen that car?
Yes, the car. That was
Oh,
one of the
okay,
times.
I was starting to remember.
Yeah, and the car was coming right before it bent the corner. The lights went off and it was gone.
And then all that
Yeah.
shit from the trees and all that shit.
Yep. That's
Yeah, that
the
shit
spot.
was crazy. Okay, I remember now.
That's the spot.
Okay,
Oh my god.
another urban legend I've heard of is the Hells Angels about red wings, black wings, white wings, and brown wings. Does anybody here know what those type of wings are?
Yeah,
I know what they are, but I didn't
yeah,
know they were Hell's Angels.
Yeah,
we can't talk about this.
Yeah, we can't talk. You can't talk about that stuff.
We can't talk about that stuff.
Okay. Well, we'll skip that.
We'll have to skip that one.
Okay. And I told you guys off camera, behind the scenes, in regard to the four-door hitchhiker.
Yes.
Okay, the four-door hitchhiker. This ghost of a soldier that hitchhikes around four-door Monterey. Supposedly, when he was living, he was going to basic training at Fort Ord, and he was hitchhiking home on Thanksgiving. 3 women picked him up, and they got him all excited in the car and everything else. And he said, "Hey, can we tie you up to a tree?" He says, "Yeah, go ahead. You know, if it's this much fun, yeah, let's do it." So they tied him up against a tree, and they took a thin glass tubing and stuck it into his pee hole, broke it off in the middle, and he bled to death. And this ghost of this soldier, after they never caught the women, this ghost of this soldier hitchhikes around Seaside, Monterey, and Fort Ord.
Yep. I'd hate to feel the aggression from that damn ghost. if your dick hole tingling in the middle of the night.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I just went past that one.
Oh my god.
Where the hell is Wrangler Dave? Why is there a joint on the screen?
I don't know.
Also too, El Guapo, you were talking about the Jersey Devil. What's the urban legends on the Jersey Devil?
I grew up in New Jersey, and my grandfather used to tell me a bunch of different stories. One was, it's almost like the old hook story, crazy guy with the hook. But it was the Pine Barrens is a huge pine forest. It's actually like the largest forest on the East Coast, and one of the largest sources of fresh water on the East Coast. But it's all cedar water. It's brown. Anyways, the teenagers always go back there to party and a lot of woods parties, that kind of thing. And in the 70s, supposedly a couple went out there in a van, were having sex, they were scratching on the roof. You know, boyfriend goes out there. Next thing you know, she just hears a horrible scream, and like his dead body or a hand or something goes rolling down the windshield of the van. She never left the van, stayed in there the whole night, and the cops supposedly found her out in the woods in like a catatonic state, found the body nearby.
Can you find me?
She would never talk
Can
about
you
it.
find me?
That's just one of them, but the real story about the birth is there's a town called Smithsville in New Jersey, and a particular place in Smithsville called Leeds, and that's from the Leeds family, which were textile manufacturers in the 1700s. Anyways, old woman Leeds already had like 12 kids, and I think her husband was dead or was away, and she somehow became pregnant. And so she said, I cursed this child, that kind of thing. When it was time for her to give birth, there was a great storm over the Pine Barrens, which is where the house was at Leeds Point. And I keep saying so during the birth, the midwives help her, and the baby comes out. They hold the baby up to the fire. The baby transforms into a devil with cloven hooves, wings, face of a horse, kills the midwives, flies out through the chimney.
Damn.
But supposedly the devil came back and was cared for by the mother, type thing, like they had a relationship somehow. And for years there were sightings. In fact, in the 1930s, there was like a craze of Jersey Devil sightings in New Jersey that hit the newspapers. Near a school, there was a sighting where they found footprints through the school. There were supposedly fires in the woods that they blamed on the Jersey Devil. They call it a cryptid, like Bigfoot. but I honestly think it's one of the only, maybe the first professional sports teams in our country is named after an urban legend. It's the Jersey Devil hockey team.
Yeah.
So
You look at all the urban legends. You got Bigfoot. You got Bat Squatch. You have
Skunk Ape.
a skunk ape, and it's all just different versions of Bigfoot. There's Sasquatch.
Well, there's a lizard man. When I was in combat training in North Carolina, they had what they called the lizard man. They told us jarheads who were stuck out there with no water for like 28 days, 2 canteens and a bar of soap type shit. And yeah, they warned us about the lizard man. And honestly, I think it was like the instructors. It was so dark out there you couldn't see shit anyway, and the instructors would come around at night and fuck with everybody. And so what we did one night, or what I did, was they weren't drill instructors, they were just instructors, and the only way you could tell them apart was they had this white strip of tape around their cover. And so I got a hold of some white tape and I wrapped it around my cover and went around and just started chewing everybody out in the middle of the night. And making them do push-ups and digging them and all that shit. Next thing you know, it turned into a full-on, just about a riot there. Guys started knocking over porta potties, which we had out there with people in them. This is way before Jackass. And that's when shit really went off, because the guys coming out of there were just covered in shit and pissed off beyond belief. And we all got our tents taken away. We were sleeping in what they call shelter halves, and we got those taken away. So we had nothing over us. We were forced to sleep out in the field with nothing.
Oh, jeez.
Good times.
So, and especially you mentioned camping in Shasta. I mean, there's, who was the guy who went there and found the Lemurians or Lemurians?
The Lemurians were the civilization from Lemuria that lived in the caverns of Mount Shasta when Lemuria went underwater. And also, too, you, Leatherface, and Broadway, we were all, and myself, we were involved in Monster Quest on the History Channel. And Broadway and Leatherface told their story. And also, too, we have witnesses who claim they saw the Mothman on the Tower Bridge in Sacramento. And the whole episode was about Monster Quest. I mean Mothman. So, yeah. So anyway, we're all part of that story. And and if you look it up, Sacramento Mothman on Google, you'll find other witnesses that claim they still see Mothman on the Tower Bridge in Sacramento.
That wasn't Mothman. Didn't Mothman originate in like Maryland?
Yeah, West Virginia, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Supposedly the Silver Bridge collapsed, 49 people died, and the Mothman originated from a TNT factory over in Point Pleasant, and then he was seen traveling 100 miles per hour next to this car where these frightened couple were driving down the road, and he's keeping pace with them. So yeah, Mothman was seen all over. Ingrid Cold was some kind of character like a Men in Black that after the Mothman sightings, he started appearing, and he has this permanent grin on his face. They call him the Grinning Man, Ingrid Cold. And then the Men in Black, they were seen all over Point Pleasant. Yeah, and that is probably a really good urban legend.
See, I picture him as like Jeepers Creepers, Mothman.
Yeah.
I kind of picture him being like the Jeepers Creeper. That thing's fucking freaky. Have you seen those things?
Demon, scary as shit. Awesome movie.
That's one to eat your ass and shit and grow a butt cheek. That dude's fucking creepy.
Hey, they had Broadway and they had Leatherface out in the freaking woods by the Sacramento River doing the little reenactment of these two guys being chased by Mothman or Bat Squatch. So that was kind of unique. And then I was out there too, doing my little thing and talking about it.
Whatever the fuck that was we saw in Shasta.
Yeah.
Let's pull down this. And Maurice goes, let's pull down this creek and go back there and get gas.
Yeah.
How many people here have heard about the disappearing hitchhiker? Because it seems like every state has a story.
Oh, there's the one, the hitchhiker that looks like Jesus Christ. There's the lady hitchhiker who she jumps into the car, and she says, "Take me over here." And they get to the house. She vanishes. The guy goes up to the house, talks to her mother, and the mother starts crying. And he goes, "Why are you crying?" And she says, "Because you're talking about my daughter, and she died 5 years ago."
Said this ma'am, I'm ghost fucking your daughter.
Yep, yep.
Hey, Paul and Phil and Face, did you hear about that one about that diesel truck? It's a ghost diesel truck they would drive. It was a woman, you know, and she says large.
Hey, Broadway, I thought you didn't have any urban legends.
Yeah, that's one of them right there, you know.
Oh my God.
Good job, Maurice.
All right.
Large.
Yeah, a large march for you.
Oh my God.
Anybody got any urban legends that nobody's ever heard before? Because I know every town has their own little ones. In Jersey, we had the Jersey Devil. We had Pineys, which were these guys that lived out in the Pine Barrens and would collect roadkill. And if you broke down out there, they'd never find you again, kind of shit.
Did you guys?
That's every back road where I live.
The story I told you about the Fort Ord hitchhiker. Did you guys ever hear that story?
No.
Okay, we got a new.
Not with the glass dick, but I've heard other hitchhiker stories.
Okay.
And there was
And then there's Dyer Lane, in which the Warlock, supposedly the witch's coven, and I don't know if Wrangler Dave knows anything about this, but supposedly the story goes
She was there.
that the Warlock went from one woman to the next. These witches, Warlock, went to one woman to the next woman to the next woman. There was 7 of them.
But they were all she-males.
Yeah, and then when he released himself to the one witch, they sacrificed her, and that was part of the curse of the land because she came back after being sacrificed.
They took her cat. They cut her cock off and they put her somewhere else. So they roam residually looking for their cock.
She's now known as the money shot witch.
Money shot Margie.
Hey, Face, tell them the story about that little girl on your street. Your mom was telling me that story. The little girl.
That little creepy thing that
and then the old man.
Oh, the whistling man.
Both. Tell them about both of them.
Oh, Mom talked about the little girl one, but the one with the old man. There's just an old dude who was, but he looked really super like old, like Poltergeist 3, where that old dude was walking. Old dude, almost like that. And he would walk in like whistle, and he would disappear. Only at a certain time at night. It was like midnight. And it was weird. It's called the whistling man. What?
God is
Pistons on.
That's right.
Let me in.
But that little girl, though, man, that was a freaky one too.
Caroline.
I got a cat named Caroline.
Hey, how many people have heard this urban legend, the 27 Club?
Oh yeah,
Heard of it.
All the rock stars.
Like the Mile High
Yeah,
Club.
Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, the lead singer of the Doors. Yeah.
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison, yeah. They all died at 27.
Let's see,
Robert
Kurt
Johnson.
Cobain.
Yeah. Winehouse. Amy Winehouse. Yeah, she.
Oh, she was. That was a terrible case there. I mean, she was like actually gorgeous, and she looked like fucking Brandon Novak on a bad day.
Oh. Okay, I got it.
Literally under the table.
Hey, I got a good urban legend.
Under the table.
I got a good urban legend.
Purple stickies on, Face. Purple stickies on.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I said that earlier.
Okay, I got a good urban legend. How many people have heard of the Black Eyed Kids?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Okay. The Black Eyed Kids, one of my cases right here in Sacramento, this lady said that these 2 boys with pure black eyes would come knocking on her door and say, can we use your telephone? And she said, no, you can't use my telephone. Plus, they creeped her out because they had pure black eyes. And they would knock on the door, can we get a drink of water? No. So she kept on seeing these two kids with the pure black eyes. And one day she got so freaked out, she jumped in her car and she took off down the road. And 10 miles down the road, she had just seen them in her driveway. And 10 miles down the road, there they were again with their black eyes. She totally freaked out. How did they travel 10 miles ahead of her car and appear again? So anyway, finally, they finally disappeared. They weren't bothering her anymore. And this new couple with their two boys moved into the house next door to her. And at this house, the two boys appeared and